Alright, what's up guys? This is going to be kind of part 2 of the chop off video I made. It's been a little while without a video, but I wanted to get this out there. The first one up was the ESEE Junglas, and I just wanted to go over, what those knives come with out of the package, and some thoughts on the, the feel and everything. If you'll remember the Junglas, and I'll put a link to that original video in the description if I remember. But the ESEE comes with very nice sheath out of the box. Kydex. It's got an adjustment here for tension. Molly back with you can actually make this jump ready by putting this piece over the handle here. It's got, obviously, as you can see, snap closure, and the handle is very comfortable. This was definitely one of the most comfortable knives out of the four. Very nice and rounded. Micarta handle. It just feels really good. You can see the edges are nice and rounded. No texturing, except for the texturing of the micarta, which does indeed give some grip, but very comfortable. Choking back a little bit, choking up. Highly recommended. Again, this knife probably performed the best out of the four, and reasonably priced. Comes with a nice sheath. A little bit thinner than the rest of them. So that's the Junglas. Next up, I believe, was the K-Bar Large Heavy Bowie, which comes with, again, this is a much less expensive knife than the Junglas. I think you're looking around, 50, 60 bucks. So it's a much more basic sheath. It's got a leather belt loop there. I don't know if this is real leather or not. Probably not at this price point. But the sheath works well. You can see one thing I've noticed is these leather straps, or whatever they are wearing out a little bit, especially this one here. This is 1085 high carbon steel, made in Taiwan. It is a 1/4 inch thick. If we compare it to the Junglas real quick, you can see it is a shorter knife overall. It's got kind of a rubberized, kind of Kraton type handle. I found it relatively comfortable. I could see a hot spot forming back here over extended use, though I've never had that happen. It is a possibility. You can see there's some texture on the handle. I almost would come back like this to get the most power out of it, and actually put the the ring finger there to get kind of some more snap out of it. But overall, comfortable handle. This performed well. It's by far the least expensive knife out of the four. And if you're on a limited budget, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this knife. I didn't have any problems with the handle. Gavco mentioned that this is the same handle that's on the grass machete, and he had a smaller hand, has a smaller hand, and noticed some possibly some issues with it. But I found it quite comfortable. I've got a size large hand, yeah, for the money, it's a whole lot of knife. Next up was the I'm going by memory, but I think was the 911 Scrapyard 911. And this probably had the most comfortable handle. You can see as far as size here, It's kind of in between the Junglas and the K-bar in blade length. You can see the it's got just a tiny bit more blade length, not cutting edge, but blade length. Again, this was probably the most comfortable handle out of all of them. It's Scrapyard calls it Res C, and just the shape, it doesn't have as pronounced a hook on the end as the K-bar. Has a choil to choke up here. I didn't show a sheath because it doesn't come with a sheath. When you buy it from Scrapyard, it's just a knife. It does come with like a cardboard sleeve, but that's about it. Black powder coat on this, 1/4 inch thick. Performed very well. Again, probably the most comfortable handle, and I like it. I like it quite a bit. If you were looking at the between the Junglas and the the 911, that'd be a tougher call, because I did find that the Junglas did slightly outperform it, in my opinion. Got a little bit more blade length, and then if you're, as far as money and cost goes, for about the same price, the Junglas comes with a sheath. It's all ready to go. So, but overall, great knife. It performed very well. You can see where I bounced it off of the Chopweiler right there on accident. But I hit it pretty hard. That's pretty good. That it only gave that one little indentation. And then last, Swamp Rat Chopweiler. I found these. I found this texture to be a little bit harsh on the hand. Basic thin handles of a Micarta. It's a 1/4 inch thick. This is where I hit it on accident with the Scrapyard 911 and caused this little chip right there. But this performed very well. It's, as you can see, it's the smallest knife out of the 4. But it performed, it was right there with them. Really, it performs very well. I really like the handle shape. I find it very comfortable. The one thing I would say is that this texture is just a little bit, might cause some hot spots, and I will probably sand that down. Just sand the edges off, not to lose the texture, but just to, round those out a little bit. This knife isn't really available anymore except on the secondary market. But it was really hung tight with the rest of these in a smaller size, a little bit more manageable if you were to choke up and use it, in my opinion. Very cool knife. I like it a lot, and again, the only thing I can say is that the handle here, this texture was just a little bit rough. I'd probably knock the corners off of this texture, but other than that, the handle shape is great. Again, if you were to buy this, it doesn't come with a sheath. It's probably the most expensive knife on the table, at least at this point, because it's not available any longer. You have to pay for the since they're just not as common, that naturally is going to have a higher price. And if you were to get it back then, it would have come again just like this, with a cardboard sleeve, no sheath or anything. So that's kind of a downside as well. But it performed very well. Handle was comfortable with the exception of those that texturing. And so that's pretty much that's part 2 of the chop up. I just wanted to give some some thoughts on each knife, and some idea and some thoughts on the handles. As far as you know, what I experienced, and again, this is all my opinion. For what it's worth, I figured it may help, or at least be fun to watch for some people out there. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.